Hi, I'm Sam with Family Heritage. I just want to start by thanking you for clicking on this video. But more importantly, I want you to take a moment and thank yourself. You may not realize this yet, but you're in a position to make an incredibly smart decision, not just for yourself, but for those you care about the most. You're in the right place at the right time, and I am so excited to share this opportunity with you today. All right, guys, we're going to jump right in. Here at Family Heritage, we have 4 different policies here in Utah: cancer plan, heart attack and stroke plan, accidents and injuries plan, and our ICU plan. Today, we're going to go over the benefits of the accident and injuries plan because obviously accidents and injuries can happen to anyone at any time. The National Safety Council says the accidents are the leading cause of death for all Americans between the age of 1 and 44. There will be over 5,000 disabling injuries every single hour in this country, and 9 out of 10 times, accidents and injuries occur off of the job. So 90% of the time, workman's comp is not able to help you. So we just want to make sure if you're on the job, off the job, or even on vacation, if you get hurt, you're going to get paid. Common risk factors include just being alive. Every 3 minutes, an injury-related accident or death occurs here in this country. Understanding these risks can help. However, the bad news is that accidents are still pretty expensive when they do happen. This is the most important part of what we do. And when you understand this, you'll understand why we work with over 13 million policyholders here nationwide. And if this makes sense to you, it'll probably be something you want to participate in as well. There are 2 types of costs associated with anything major health-wise. The first cost you're probably very familiar with: hospital bills, doctor bills, things like that. And this is what health insurance is for. We have nothing to do with the direct side of things. What I talk to folks about are the indirect costs, the hidden portion of this iceberg. This is the thing that sunk the Titanic and is typically the hidden expenses that sink people's finances. Indirect costs are the leading cause of bankruptcy in this country, and this is what we protect people from. Does anything come to mind to you when you hear of hidden or indirect costs associated with something like an accident? To kind of put it another way, if you were sick or hurt and you couldn't work for 3 months, 6 months, a year, or longer, how would that impact you financially? If you're like most of us, you'd probably be in a pretty devastating place. If you were held up out of work for a while, what would be the 5 top bills you would be most concerned about? For a lot of us, it's our rent, utilities, food's not getting any cheaper, maybe a car payment or 2, credit card bills. And these are all the hidden costs that health insurance doesn't cover. The biggest indirect cost is simply just that loss of income. When no money's coming in, everything kind of snowballs from there. Your bills of life don't slow down at all either. You still have to pay your rent, probably like AC, maybe a car payment here or 2. And these are all the bills that we know about and plan for every month. However, when something unexpected like an accident happens, you also get bills you don't plan for. Even with the best of insurance, you have limitations with co-payments and deductibles. And say something serious were to happen and you needed to travel outside the state to get the help you need. Now you have to pay for travel, food, lodging. So in these situations, your income stays the same or goes down, but unfortunately those expenses usually go up. And when do you think most people realize these hidden or indirect costs? Right? When it happens. And out of those folks, how many of them do you think are financially prepared for something like this when it does occur? You're right. Not very many. Looking at this list here, what would concern you and your family the most if you were out of work for a while? And God forbid something were to happen today, what would your backup plan be outside of your savings to protect your assets and to protect your income? If you're like most of us, you probably don't have a backup plan. When most people are trying to mitigate these hidden costs, the first thing they do is dip into their savings, college funds, retirement funds. Obviously not the most fun option. Then after all the savings are gone, then people go on to start selling everything they've worked their entire life to acquire. So there is a better option. And this is why supplemental coverage was designed. This is put in place to protect your assets, your family, and your savings. And we do that simply by skipping the middleman and paying money directly to you. Your health insurance is there to pay the doctors, and we're here to pay you to keep those hidden bills afloat when you're going through something stressful. This pays in addition to any other insurance that you own, and this can provide coverage just for you, or can be extended to the entire family. We work with many different folks, over 13 million policyholders nationwide. Here are just a few examples of all of our policyholders, just right here in the Utah County area. Many reasons people are choosing to work with us is because the process is very simple to understand. You're going to know right away if this is for you. Our plans are very affordable. We work with many different people with varying budgets, and it's an easy decision. The coverage is there if you need it, but if you don't end up actually using it, we refund every single penny back to you after 25 years. Globe Life has been around for 120 years. We have an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and an A+ superior rating from AM Best, whose job it is to give credit scores to insurance companies. Now, kind of a silly question, but what would happen to someone's credit score if they were unable to make their payments? Right? It would go down. And that AM Best score would go down if we weren't able to pay out our policyholders when they were going through something stressful. This is Julia Margaret. She had one of our accident and injury plans, and she wrote here, "I was riding my motorcycle and I hit a deer. I've been out of work for 18 months after the accident. Without this insurance, I would not have been able to pay any of my bills. It saved my life and was worth every penny." Now, obviously, no one plans to hit deers with their motorcycle, but when this happened to Julia, we paid her $55,000. Now, that's not millions of dollars, but can't you see how that would relieve a lot of financial stress if you were going through something similar? So that was the long part of the presentation. The policy itself is just a couple pages. You might like it, you might not. About half the people we show this to get it, and the other half don't. If for whatever reason you find yourself in that second boat, that's completely fine. This is not for everyone. But after we've done walking you through the benefits, provided a clear case of what we do, just ask yourself this question. Would this make sense and feel good for me to have? This is the policy itself. As you can see on the left-hand side, we have Preferred 4, and on the right-hand side, we have Elite 8. The difference between the two is the Elite 8 just pays double what the Preferred pays. However, they cover the same things. Most people want the best because it pays the most when something happens. So I'll explain the Elite 8 coverage side of things. However, all of our policies are really great here. If you were put into the emergency room for any reason associated with an accident, we're going to immediately pay you $400. If you were put in the hospital due to the accident, we're going to pay you $3,200 on the very first day. And then every day after that, we're going to pay you $800. So obviously, if you're in the hospital, you're not making money. So we're going to supplement that income by paying you $800 a day. What's really great is this policy has no cap. So there's never a time where we stop paying out if you continue to get hurt. Now, why would that be important if you were dealing with something like an accident? You can slip and fall today, and you can slip and fall 10 years from now. If you were put into the observation room for any reason, we're going to pay you $400. If you had to take an ambulance, we're going to pay you $1,200 for the ground, double for the air. The fracture benefit, the general idea here is the bigger the break, the bigger the payout. To kind of put it morbidly, every single body part has a price tag. If you fracture your wrist or your ankle, we're going to pay you $2,800. And if you fracture your thigh or your femur, we're going to pay you $10,000. Since that's a little bit bigger of a break, and you're definitely going to be held up for a while and need more money. If you had to get surgery for any reason associated with the accident, we're going to pay you $1,600. And we'll also pay for physical therapy 12 days after the accident. And your medical insurance may cover these bills. However, this money's paid directly to you to use in any way you see fit. Can you see how that's completely different than your standard health insurance? Here's where it gets a little scary. If you're to lose a limb, we're going to pay you $20,000. If you were to accidentally pass away from an accident, we're going to pay your family $40,000. If a spouse were to pass away from an accident, we will also pay up to $20,000 per child to go to college, just to make sure that's still an option for them, for up to 5 children. Here's some limitations. You can't be shooting at people, them shooting at you back. We don't cover war-related injuries. Nothing self-inflicted. If you professionally race automobiles or jump out of perfectly good airplanes, we're not going to cover that. You can definitely have your drinks on the weekend, just nothing like hold my beer, bro, as the direct result of the accident. You can't be robbing a bank, break your foot, and expect to be covered. And no professional sports or rodeo. There are other things that can affect your finances, and this is why we also offer our intensive care plan. If you were put into the ICU for any reason, we're going to pay you $1,600 a day. That benefit doubles if you were in a vehicle accident. So if you're held up in the hospital for 10 days, we're going to pay you $32,000. There's a step-down unit benefit in this plan as well as an additional couple ambulance and an accidental death benefit if you were to pass away in the ICU. Just to wrap things up, a few of our commitments to you as a policyholder. These benefits are paid directly to you to use in any way you see fit. I honestly see accidents and injury claims come in, and people just take their family to Disneyland. So you can use the money however you want. The coverage is guaranteed renewable for life. So no matter how expensive you get to the company, there's never a point where we can drop you as a client. Only you can cancel on us. We won some awards for this one. Your phone call is answered by a live person. Enough said in 2024. Your premium does not increase with age or because of claims, so it's not like car insurance. If you get into an accident, your rate doesn't go up. We've actually never raised the rate on any of our policyholders. We do all of our pricing based off of age. I'm just going to pick a random example, 41 to 45, and let's say we got a family plan. We work with a lot of policyholders here, farmers, self-employed folks, people that run their own businesses. And if you had to pay out of pocket for health insurance, if you weren't able to get it through a place like school or work, people on the low end are paying anywhere from $600 to $800. And on the high end, anywhere from $1,500 to well over $2,000 a month for health insurance. So people expect something like this that can protect not only you and your family, but has over 30 different benefits that are covered, has no lifetime cap, and pays the money directly to you to be about the same price. But in this example, for a family to be covered, instead of being $2,000, $1,500, for the top level of coverage at that Elite 8 for a family between the ages of 41 to 45, would only be $136.40 a month. And for the preferred level of coverage, $71.20. That's not bad. If they were to opt in for the ICU plan, it would be $80.80 at the top level of coverage and $40.40 for that preferred level. When I was catching up with Lizzie a little bit earlier this week, she's like, honestly, Sam, I think I spend more on Amazon packages every week than some of these plans. I spend a ridiculous amount on my phone bill for something that's going to protect me financially if something happens. She's like, this just kind of makes sense. And this policy makes sense even if you never file a claim. There's only one of 3 things that can happen. If something happens, you get your money back through claims. If nothing happens, you get your money back through a savings check. And if something small happens, you just get a combination of the two. So I'm going to show you an example of how that works using our elite level of coverage for the accidents and injuries plan. 3640 times by 12 times by 25. Now, obviously, we hope that nothing ever happens to our clients, which in this case, we're just going to come back and cut you a check for over $40,000. I don't know about you, but I call that a pretty good day. Now, 25 years is a decent chunk of time, so typically something does happen. Whether it's broken bones, stitches, you find yourself in the ICU for a couple days. Let's say we pay you random number, $25,000, when you and your family really needed it. Now, this is kind of a silly question, teetering on a stupid question, but would you rather pay $25,000 out of your own account, take out a loan, or just have us pay it for you? Right. And we're still going to come back and cut you a check for the difference, So you're never throwing any money away. Now, the real reason someone gets something like this is because something serious does happen. Say we paid you anywhere from $50,000, $75,000 to well over $100,000. At that point, we're not going to come back and cut you a return of premium check. But the plan was put in place and did exactly what it was supposed to do and protected you and your family when you needed it the most. And you're also not filing for bankruptcy, selling everything that you own, and you're still covered. So the only way you lose here is if you need a plan and you don't have one. So now that you've kind of seen everything, different people like different aspects of this plan. Melissa, she just really liked the fact that this plan was affordable. She's a single mom with 2 kids. And she said that having something like this wouldn't take any meals away from the family. But if she did need to use it, it sure would add a lot of meals to the table. And Eric, he just really liked the forced savings aspect. He's not the best with his finances. And he said that someone can save for me while I'm also protected. It's not every day that you can find really good coverage and also plan for your future. And Andrea, she just really liked the fact that the money was paid directly to her. She knows what bills need to wait and what bills cannot wait when you're going through something serious. So she just really liked that aspect of control. But for you, what did you like most about the plan? And knowing that you don't have anything in place like this, why would having something like this make sense and feel good for you to have? One of my favorite videos is with Jim Rohn, and he's talking about how he realized that everything in this life is risky. If you think investing is risky, wait till you get the tab for not investing. You think trying is risky? Wait till you get the bill for not trying. So everything in this life is a risk. As we saw in the statistics, anything can happen to anyone at any time. So just ask yourself, what risk are you comfortable in making? Thank you guys very much for your time. I hope you took this as an opportunity to make a decision, because we really don't know what tomorrow brings. Thank you very much.